What's good, Wager World? It's your boy Five Star in Vegas, broadcasting live as always from beautiful Summerlin, Nevada, and here with my co-host, my guy, the only Sacramento Kings fan that I know. What's good, Spread Astaire? How you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling great. We got two elimination games tonight. I'll be actually checking them out on delay. I'll be doing my tape study a little later than usual tonight. But as I was telling you, I think that's fine because I don't think I'm going to want to endure the results. I think I would rather have the fast forward button there, and that way I'm not just stealing every single commercial and everything. So, pretty excited about the games tonight. Last night, Boston Celtics got it done. Dude, that's two games in a row in Atlanta where they freaking don't cover by a half a point. You got to be kidding me. And both games they should. I'm so glad the Hawks are done. Get out of here with your non-covering asses.
Man,
Unbelievable.
let's jump right into the past, and
Let's
I know
do
you
it.
have the doc, but let's since you started there, let's knock out the Hawks and Celtics first before we step back a couple of days to the Knicks and Cavs. Let's get right to the Hawks and the Celtics game because if anyone's highly pissed about that game, it was I.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like, and this stuff where the people go, "Oh, the Hawks have a good future." No, they don't. No,
No,
they
they're
don't.
about
This
to
is their
tear it
ceiling
down.
right here.
Yeah, they're
You
about
saw
to
their
tear it
ceiling.
down.
They can compete and kind of look okay against a championship level team. But I mean, this team's not getting any better with Trae Young. I mean, I don't see how they're ever going to compete in the East.
I don't know if Trey's the problem as much as the roster around him. I like some pieces. I like Trey Young. I like Hunter a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they shouldn't have got rid of Herter, who gave you guys a boost. They should have kept him because the initial building of the Hawks they were following the Warriors blueprint, and they were trying to make Trey into the Steph, Herter into the
Clay.
Clay,
Yeah.
and then DeAndre Hunter is, that type of Wiggins KD glue guy that can shoot, play D, play two-way, and it was going pretty well. What they've done that I don't understand is some reason John Collins is always in the news over there, like for getting traded. I don't know if he goes in the office or he's doing something in the locker room that's ticking the front office off, or they have some intel or something about him that maybe he used to be into. But they kept him on the trade blocks, but he's still there, and that all of that mess and all of those rumors kind of was a cloud over their head. Um, they're a pretty good nucleus, but at this point, as you said, what can you do to get over the hump? It's going to be hard, and we always hear Coach on Twitter roasting everybody about little guards, and if you think about it, he's right. Allen Iverson's the only little guard that ever made it to the finals, besides Isaiah Thomas. I forgot Isaiah Thomas was the last little guard and the only little guard. Him and Joe Dumars both were smaller guards, and they won the championship. It was a different style of play back then, but besides that, Allen Iverson's the only one who's even came close to doing it, and you saw the Lakers dominated them. It's just really hard for small guards to be successful in this league in the playoffs when it gets to half court
Yeah,
defense and
especially
offense.
when it switched to the wing league, right? You go back to John Stockton. Well, if your role as the point guard is just to feed your big man, it's a little different when now your role as a point guard is expected to be the lead scorer. So, yeah, the Hawks. All right, I'm sick of them not covering. Have a good off season, and we'll see you next year.
All because you can't inbound the ball down 6 points. You
Yeah,
can't get a damn inbound to pass in. They called a timeout.
I was.
They had like
I
three
so
opportunities to throw it in,
I
and
watched
they
that one
couldn't
on
get the
delay,
ball.
and I said, I already knew it was going to happen. But I watched. I said, this is why people don't bet the NBA right here. You ever met people go, I don't bet the NBA. It's because of stuff like that.
I'm one of them because that
Yeah,
was a regular
yeah.
season game. You see, they flew over to 231. They weren't playing the liquor defense, so that was just like a regular season game last night. But I'm over both of those teams. Let's get on to the next. I'm just glad we got their
All right.
coach, Emil
The Knicks.
Udoka. Welcome to Houston.
You warned me, man, not to take that Cavaliers on. That was Wednesday night. You said, "Hey, this is a
Yeah,
bad matchup." Turned out to be true. The Knicks advance on the road. Knicks in 5. Wow, I mean, not surprised they won, but in 5, impressive showing there from the New York Knicks, and maybe the guy that's going to be challenging our guy coach's small guard assessment is a Mr. Jalen Brunson. who's been
Yeah.
fantastic. What did you see in that game on Wednesday?
Ski back yet?
Yeah,
Bring him in. What up, Ski? Welcome to the show, my boy Ski Prophet. Always one of the show favorites. What's up, brother?
Not much. Another day. Trying to make some cash. How y'all doing?
doing
Best,
good.
man. Another day, another dollar. So let's get off into the past, man. I got to sit here with Ski because he was with us when we first were previewing a lot of these series. So I like to hear his takes on a lot of them. You know, you and him are my NBA experts, man. You the guys I trust besides myself. So we're gonna go with the Knicks and the Cavs first, right? Spread.
Yeah, basically just said Jalen Brunson took over. Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein outplayed the Cavaliers. More big name men inside. To me, that was the difference in the series. What'd you think, Ski?
I just think the Cavaliers were playing soft. They got big men. They just weren't playing like it all season long. They wanted to, and then they get to the playoffs and see Mitchell Robinson on the other side, and they get scared. That's what it was looking like to me. So I was disappointed in the Cavaliers team from that aspect.
Yeah, I thought it was a disappointing performance too, and it's another mark against Donovan Mitchell, who gets outdueled by Jalen Brunson 2 seasons in a row now in the playoffs. Is his style of play going to translate to playoff success outside of the bubble? What do you think there, 5 star?
Donovan Mitchell is one of those guys that's a highlight reel, and I don't know if he can be a one because they say everyone thinks he can be a one because of Utah. But what kind of success did they have? I mean, what did they do? Did they even make it to the Western Conference Finals? You know,
No,
so
this was the second round.
yeah, exactly. They beat up on Russ, you know. So he got a chance to get down on Russ 2 straight years, and people thought, they were ready to hail him as the next coming of D Wade, but he has a way to go. But like most of these guys, he still, has some more years ahead of him. We'll see if he can develop. What I don't like about the Cavs is their coach Bickerstaff. I I didn't like him in Houston.
Mm.
I don't like his approach. He's a great X and O guy, but he's a difficult guy to get along with. It's kind of like the Nate McMillan stuff. He sooner or later he kind of wears on people, and he wasn't doing those guys any favors. Me, if you watch the game, he was into it with the refs the whole series, like growling, cussing. And I'm like, dude, that can't be your approach. You making it bad on your team, and we all play team sports. You're not gonna get every call, man. And lastly, about that series, if you remember before the series started, Mitchell Robinson, they did an interview about him, and he sounded pretty confident about going against the Cavs.
All right, let's move on. And of course, we'll have time to preview the Knicks' upcoming series with the Miami Heat. But the reason we'll be previewing that is because the Heat, not only they cover that plus 12 that I gave out on our last show, right? Hey, great pick by me, right? Heat plus
Good
12.
job.
Should have
Yes,
taken
sir.
the money line. I could not believe it. I'm sitting there watching at the end, and boy, it was tough for me as a player who was pounding the table that Giannis is the best player in the world. Well, if you can't make your free throws and you can't make a jump shot, you're no longer the best player in the world. He regressed in those two areas. When they were a championship team, he was good from the line, and he had that mid-range jumper in too, which made him unstoppable. A little bit of regression there. Chris Middleton, not the same player he was when he got hurt, and Budenholzer, Giannis couldn't carry his terrible coaching. I've been trying to support him, but even Giannis was calling him out after the game, and Giannis is a real positive guy. So Miami Heat move on. Too bad for Bucks and my favorite player in the NBA. But that's what happens when you go against a team and you're less prepared. What did you think, 5 star?
You remember earlier in the year when we was talking about the coming playoffs, and you were heavy on the Bucks. And you remember I told you that Giannis's game wasn't progressing much, that he hadn't developed a jumper yet, that he was doing too many movies and stuff over in Greece, and it was showing in his game. You can't just be running jump guy. Me and Ski laugh all the time about what Harden said about him not being skilled. We were one of the first, probably two dudes that was on, Harden's comment and understood exactly what he was talking about. And it shows in the playoffs, man. If it wasn't for the 2 inches by KD on that 3 pointer, we'll be talking about Giannis a little bit differently, man. Don't get me wrong, spectacular player, great two-way player, can't be the best player in the world, and you're playing hot potato with the ball when they throw it into you. You're supposed to hold that ball and want those free throws. That's what the greatest player in the world does, and he's just, a phenomenon, but he's not the best player in the world, man. He's not skilled enough.
Yeah, it's too bad for my take there. I had to eat the L on that one. Ski, what did you think there about the Heat and the Bucks?
The Bucks coach has been terrible. He probably would have been fired if they didn't win that championship a couple years ago. He'd been fired a long time ago. And Jimmy just took Drew's soul. So playoff Jimmy,
But isn't
he
that on the
does.
coach? He shouldn't have been covering him.
It's on everybody. I mean, it's on the coach because he should make adjustments. It's on Drew because he's getting ate up. It's on everybody. Um,
Hmm.
Like
I
if
think there's
if
going to be a
we're
lot
on
of
opposite teams and you're eating me up and you go for you're just killing me, shouldn't the coach make an adjustment? You can't just sit there and let your
yeah.
guy
He
get
had dropped
killed
like
every game.
120 points on him in 3 games already.
Yeah, I know he's up there like Michael Jordan and Jerry West on those lists.
Like what is Bud doing? Like, and they didn't double and make him get off the ball one time, guys. Like, I never saw them. You know how they used to do Harden when he was cooking like that in Houston? They'll run like 3 guys at him and Steph to make them get off the ball. Like, I don't know what
Yeah,
Bud doing. He's out of there though.
I think it's going to be a lot of changes to that Milwaukee Bucks team and, in general. So the Heat, Eric Spoelstra just doing what they do. We'll see if they can get it done again versus the Knicks.
Yeah, I feel unprepared on this series because that's not what I was expecting. So I'm gonna take my time.
Remember, you thought you ain't got a layup. You was like, it was like, look at the Bucks. It sets up perfectly for them because they got the Heat.
Yeah, I was wrong. I mean,
Well,
great
you didn't
job.
know Coach Bud could be this bad, right?
I mean, yeah, you got at one point.
Oh
You
God, that
know,
was horrible.
do that. Yeah, so we had some picks. We had Mitchell Robinson over 1.5 blocks. That one got home, right?
Yes, we did. He got that in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Mitch
David
Robinson, yeah,
Roddy
yeah,
got over
yeah.
5.5
No,
blocks as well.
no, he didn't. We lost that one. The reason why he didn't get any run for some reason, uh, Taylor Jenkins didn't go to him one time on the bench. So that's the one we lost. But we hit Luke Kennard over 1.5 3-pointers though easy. He hit that in the first half as well. So we did pretty good on the props, man. Really good on the props.
All right, well, let's dive into the present then, because some of these we'll do in the previews of the next game.
Yep.
Do you want to start doing a little NFL draft before we give out the winners for tonight?
Yeah, let's do a little draft. I want to see what everyone thought about their personal teams uh, job in the draft.
Who's your
I'll
team
go.
again, Ski?
Yeah, Ski's a Chargers fan.
Oh,
Yeah, but
okay. Who'd you guys
honestly,
get?
I'm not paying attention to football. I don't know who we drafted, what pick we had. I don't care about football until you debate
Oh man. Well, I guess you're more of a fan of money than your Chargers.
it.
You
Yeah,
guys
now
had
you
a
know you
good
the
draft
football
pick.
guy.
Well, hey, so is their owner, so he's about the same, right? He
Hey,
likes
you
money
guys
more
had a
than the
good
team
pick
too.
though. You got a good pick though. You guys picked Quentin
From
Johnston.
TCU.
Remember him from TCU? Yeah. So you guys
Yeah,
got another
receiver,
big
right?
tall weapon.
Yeah,
Yeah, another deep guy for Justin Herbert to air it out too. So not a bad pick at all on your side. What did you
I'll
think
take
about
it.
the Raiders spread?
I was happy. That was about like the best possible thing. I mean, maybe we regret not taking Carter, but maybe that's a better idea not having him out there in Vegas. Maybe
Yeah,
Philadelphia is a little better place
right,
for him. What do you
right.
think? You know so much more about this than I do.
Yeah, you guys had a really good pick. Really like that kid. He's sound, raised correctly, and he's going to give you guys a lot of effort for the next 10 years. He's going to be a really good mix with Crosby. His arms are longer than LeBron James, so he's going to be uh, a spectacle on the field. I'm sure that he'll get a lot of sacks in the coming years out here in Vegas, and his temperament is perfect for the Vegas environment. You know, he's not one of those guys who like to hang out a lot. Far as my squads, the Saints, I couldn't have been more thrilled. They got Brian Brees. He's a big time defensive tackle out of Clemson. He was the best player on Clemson's defense the last 2 seasons. I know Murphy got drafted higher, but the person who made that defense go was Brees. And man, he has a really high potential. He can be one of those special type of defensive tackles, game records like Warren Sapp and those guys. And then as far as in the Texans, man, them picking up C.J. Stroud was a steal at number 2. I loved how they held their hand and allowed them to put out all the bad press like they weren't going to take him. I think he has the perfect temperament for the city of Houston. Going through a lot of stuff as a kid, But I don't know if you know about the story about his father was a preacher and had a church and ended up back in the streets, kind of hustling, and ended up getting locked up in California. So that's where he's been the last couple of years in his life. But he's watching his. Hopefully, he comes home soon and sees what happens with his son's career. I think his son is a tough-minded kid, and I think that he's very talented. Kind of like how Ski's quarterback is, Justin Herbert, with a guy that can make all the throws, has the size and the skills, and I think that he's going to have a big career with the Texans as long as he has D'Amico Ryans as his coach, because they'll be running that Shanahan offense, which is quarterback friendly, and the type of accuracy that he has, he'll be a 65%, 70% completion quarterback. So I think the Texans did really well on that. Will Anderson, I wasn't as high on as most people, but after watching him interact with people, his energy is going to be really good for that locker room. He looks like he's ready to step in and lead that defense to some respectability, and that's a good thing. And you're not a two-time All-American, for nothing in college. So I'm sure that he'll be a game wrecker, and they'll use him correctly, on the outside to get to the quarterback. All right, let's get to this Warriors and Kings game tonight, man.
All right, let's start it off. Love to have Ski on here. Always, I'm watching all your content too that you do, but I get to talk to you in person today, right? So we have a couple games tonight. Unfortunately, I'll be quick for my breakdown. I think both hope teams are going to win. And I was telling 5-star, if I were to take a dog, I think the Grizzlies have a better chance of covering than the Lakers do. But I don't even necessarily like that either. I think it's the end of the line for two small market franchises tonight. Ski, what do you think?
I agree. As far as this Sacramento and Golden State game is concerned, before the series started, I kind of said the more it goes on, the more it's going to favor the Warriors because coming into the series, they're just kind of getting their guys back. Gary Payton II, he played a couple games before that, but Andrew Wiggins, he played his first game in the playoffs. Now he's had 5 games under his belt, looking better and better each game. And those two guys are just a big part of what's going to make Golden State's perimeter defense a lot better. You see Wiggins on Fox makes all the difference, et cetera, et cetera. So I like that. If I trust either one of these teams to get a stop, I always say I trust Golden State. Sacramento is a really great talented team, but they don't play a lick of defense. So in the playoffs, that's gonna, how do I say? I mean, it's gonna hurt you if you can't get any stops. And then as far as everything else, like I feel like Golden State has the better coach. Golden State is the best player in this series, and Golden State is dominant at home. They've won 35 games at home. I think they're something like 28-6-1 against the spread in those games. So when they win, they cover. This number is what it is for a reason. I just think there's not much more Sacramento can do. You look at how they've been playing Sabonis. They're taking him out the game as far as other things he can do with his playmaking. They just forcing him to shoot those mid-range shots or do those kind of things and not letting him get everybody else involved. So I like what they're doing there, and I just trust a lot more from this Warriors team than I trust the Sacramento side. So Warriors minus the 7.5 points. I think they win this game by double digits, and also it being an elimination game. If they're down 5 or whatever, Sacramento is going to continue to foul. So I like the Warriors in this game.
All right, 5-star. Ski and I both, unfortunately for me, we root with our heart, but we bet with our minds, and I think the Warriors are going to run away with it. Ski and I both like laying the points, but what do you think?
Same thing. I'll be laying the 7.5 with the Warriors. I think they win by double digits. I think the crowd's going crazy by the fourth quarter, and everybody's dancing because you guys, when I say you guys, I mean Sacramento, because I know that you're a big fan, lifelong fan of Spread. But the Kings, they have a problem, and the problem is one, they don't play defense. We know that. Sabonis is one of the worst rim protectors, worst defensive centers in the league, and Looney is having his way on the boards. Wiggins is each game getting more and more, his game back, and he's rested, so he's prepared for a playoff run. The Warriors really played this thing really smart, and they seem like they're just like last year, starting to catch their footing at the right time. And the other thing that the Kings have going against them, and the most important thing right now is Fox. Fox was the one advantage that they had. Fox was the best player on the court, even though we know Steph is a Hall of Famer. When Fox was right, he was the one guy that could control the pace of the game. That as a one-man gang could, take over the game in the fourth quarter and make the Warriors have to go shot for shot with him. With his injury, he did not look the same last game, even though he put up a valiant 24. It looks like that finger's been affected. So without him being 100%, there's no way the Kings can get this done. So I like the Warriors too, -7.5.
Yeah, I thought that was the big key, and I thought there were a lot of shots that Fox usually makes that didn't fall, especially those mid-range floaters. Another one that's I think a little underrated. I don't know if Sabonis is 100% either after that stomp. He hasn't
Really?
been active down low. I mean, that's quite a stomp to the chest. I mean, bro,
Man, come on, man. Come on, man.
bro, you're
You,
gonna lie on the ground and let someone stomp on you with all their weight?
yeah, but they not
You
saying
gotta
he
be
broke his
better than
ribs or
130.
nothing. Did he break
No,
his
I'm just
ribs?
saying. I don't think he's
He
100% either.
okay. Come on, man. That's a
He's not
boo-boo.
100% either. He's
It's
not
a
100%.
boo-boo. Stop it.
All right, let's move on. Ski, this one pains me so much because as my team's eliminated, your team's going to be celebrating. There will be no parade in Memphis tonight. The parade will be in Los Angeles. Unfortunately, I hate to say this, but like I said, we root with our hearts. We bet with our brains. The Lakers are a better team. LeBron just basically rested in game 5.
Yep.
He said he treated that like a scrimmage game. I think we see big nights from both your big stars tonight. And of course, we know how much better the role players play at home. Will it be Austin Reeves? Will it be Rui? I mean, hell, Lonnie Walker could even come out and drop some points, but I think you'll get some big bench performances from your team tonight. Ski, how confident are you that the Lakers cover this 5-point spread tonight?
I'm really confident for a lot of reasons, but that last game, I think it's just a combination of a lot of things. Like coming off that overtime game, the Lakers are the older roster. LeBron especially is going to be affected. He was gassed during that game, so honestly, I feel like they should have. They did take him out in that fourth quarter, I guess, before they took the rest of the starters out. But I think you'll get a much better effort from him in this one. Anthony Davis said he's ready to play however many minutes he has to play, 42, 45, 48. And really, they need Anthony Davis on the court. Either that or they got to play some bigs when he's not in the game. You cannot be playing at, LeBron at the 5 lineup because the Grizzlies are looking at that like food. They're just going to attack the rim every single time. So just knowing Anthony Davis is up for the task to play as many minutes as we need him to play, and the combination of the Lakers being at home, Lakers being a deeper team now. You just look at the Grizzlies; they're kind of falling apart. They've already lost Steven Adams, Clark, um, and you have Kennard on the injury report right now with the shoulder injury. He might not go in this one. That's going to help hurt their bench production, hurt their spacing. It's going to make Memphis a whole lot easier to guard. And the Lakers have been a really good defensive team ever since post All-Star break. So I like all of those things. You look at Memphis. I know they don't have a winning record on the road, but as a road dog, they are 0-17 this year, this season. They have not won once, and they're 2-15 against the spread. So I think the Lakers absolutely get the job done. They haven't forgot Dylan Brooks running his mouth and you know talking about their guy LeBron James. So I think it's another one of those games where they end it, they send a message, Grizzlies go home, and they can think about how they can be better next season. All this, like the Grizzlies, they do a lot of talking and they keep getting sent home. So I'm curious to see what happens after they lose tonight.
All right. I hate to hear it, but I agree with most everything that he said. 5-star. What are your thoughts here on the Lakers and the Grizz?
I'm going to wait till the game gets a little close and I can steal a good number. Like I want a little bit under that 5 just because it's like 80% of the public going to be rolling with the Lakers tonight. And, I am about that. Last night, the public triumphed with that we all lost with the Hawks with that stupidity at the end of the game that they displayed. and the players were like not trying to foul, and Quinn Snyder like foul. All the players, but all had the +7 because they did not want to foul, but Quinn Snyder like kind of forced them. So the public was like 80% on that one, so they cleaned up last night on that one. But it's the same type of overwhelming public action on this game. So I'm gonna wait, and I know the Lakers are gonna win. I don't think I want to give up the points though. I think I'm gonna try to -140 or something like that, and try to catch them on a good juicy money line number. As far as the Grizzlies, just like Ski said, Dylan Brooks, man, he put his mouth before his butt. That's a big problem. They talk a lot. They easily motivate the other teams. Like you're up to play these guys just because they run their mouth. If they were just playing ball, they'd have a chance to beat the Lakers. They have a good enough team, but they are definitely missing their big men. The Lakers have an advantage. They just have a better, deeper squad. And I think that the Lakers get it done. I think LeBron is pacing himself, which is very smart. Last game, he didn't, give a lot of effort because he knew they already had done what they needed to do by getting the road win early in the series in game one. That's why it's very important for them to close out tonight. And LeBron has a ridiculous number in closeout games. I don't know it off the top of my head, but it's a really good winning percentage in closeout games. So I trust the old man to get it done. The all-time leading scorer in the NBA history to get it done tonight. Ski, quick question for you as a uh, Los Angeles native. Is LeBron respected in the city finally? I remember at first, a lot of people who love Kobe, like both of us do, they didn't really care too much for LeBron as a Laker in the city because we all know Kobe's going to always be number one and number two going to be Magic in the city. But is LeBron respected in LA now?
Yeah, I mean, you want a ring there. You got to give him credit. It's just the issue is not even really so much LeBron. It's just how the way most LeBron fans just talk. That's just really what the issue is between everybody in LA and them. So we're fine. He was the only person who had the balls to go and put on a purple and gold. Nobody else wanted to, and he came and won a championship. So you have to give him
Yeah,
credit for that. I want to mention something to you though, because it's playoff time. This is not the
hmm
regular season where nobody cares no more. It's not the regular season. You can just manipulate this, manipulate that. The good teams, the better teams, they're not give throwing games. They're out here to win. This is what they've been playing all
yeah,
season for. So I just think you gotta put more into what you're seeing versus who's betting what. If you look at the last couple of days, I mean, you look at yesterday. You talked about the Celtics. The Lakers were the public team in the last game that they won. The Warriors were the public team versus the Kings. The public is going to win because the public is betting the good teams right now. So I just think you should pay more attention to how the teams are playing.
Oh, I balance it. I definitely pay attention to that, but I'm going to watch the market because over the last couple of days, the spread can tell you I've been pretty good, like 7-0 on that. The first one I lost was last night. I was 7-1, and all the times they've been, and that's my little secret sauce. So I don't want to talk about it too much on the air. But just put it like this. I balance both. I love watching. My thing is scouting first. Like my first thing is your players and the coaching, the scheme. But I've learned from betting 20 years that you better look at the market as well.
I hear
I'm going to
you.
go off script real quick here. I want to add a couple in here. Ski.
hmm
We got two series that begin this weekend. They're both fascinating matchups. One I was prepared for. One I've been working on for a little while, right? This Nugget Suns, right? I've done some preparation on it. I was ready for it. On the other hand, this Heat Knicks blindsided me. I thought we were going to get Bucks Cavs. Obviously as the series turned out, but I'm saying before those tipped off, right? When we did our playoff previews, I like the favorites to advance here. I thought it was going to be a real chalky first round. We saw some upsets. I just wanted to get your general thoughts here on how you expect these matchups to look. Let's start with the Suns and the Nuggets. I think that one is fun. I think a lot of people are going to look forward to it. I think it's going to be great basketball. I think it's going to be good for the NBA, and casual fans are going to like it too. I like the Suns to win the series. I think the Suns are going to split in Denver. My problem is I don't know which game they're going to win. What do you think here when the Suns tip that series off tomorrow?
Well, in general, I do not trust the Suns.
Mm.
This is a team that traded away a lot of their depth. A team that I feel like is still working on just the chemistry of having KD over there, etc., and all of that. And also, I'm not a fan of how many minutes these guys have to play every night for them just to win games. I mean, at some point throughout the playoffs, they're going to get worn out, and it could very well be versus a Denver team who is deep, who does have that chemistry and who does have home court advantage. I mean, playing in altitude too, playing all those minutes, is definitely going to hurt this Phoenix Suns team. So I just feel like I trust the Nuggets more. I would be looking for
Mm.
them to win this series in advance, and I also think the more the series goes on, more advantage for the Nuggets. I also think, coming into this series, they have an advantage just because, like I said, of how long they've been playing together. Um, uh, they already know what to expect from everybody on the roster. So I could only look one way in that series, and that's Denver.
Wow, I make some good points, and I always respect what you have to say. And even when we're not doing shows together, I'm catching the content you produce. So I have to put that in my little notes here. Maybe I need to reconsider this series. I like the Suns. Ski's telling me not so fast. Take a look at the number one seed with the two-time MVP. What do you think, 5 star?
It's all about Jamal Murray. If Jamal Murray takes over the series and you know takes advantage of his matchup with Chris Paul, then yeah, I like the Nuggets. If he doesn't have a big series and it comes down to just Jokic, I like the Suns because the Suns have the Jimmys and Joes. They have the two guys who are probably going to be the best players in the series. But Jamal Murray, when he's playing at it, his top level, he could be right there with him. Where now it's him and Jokic being able to match Booker and KD's um, firepower and ability to get a bucket when it's necessary. So it's gonna be a really good series, man. It's one of those series that I gotta see. We didn't get a real good feel for these teams matching up because the two times that Phoenix beat them this year, Denver was sitting people. So I want to see the new look Suns against the number one seed. Watch a couple games, and I'll get an immediate feel for it. I don't think minutes is going to affect those guys as much. KD he's been pretty rested this year because of little injuries different times, and Booker's pretty young. I think in the playoffs, these guys turn it up a notch and can take more minutes. And most teams shorten their benches to like 7. So as long as they get some stuff out of Torrey Craig and Steph's brother-in-law, I think they'll be okay as far as in the bench. Is Campaign coming back in time for this series?
I think he'll be back. I'm expecting
He's
him to play.
big. He's big. Campaign is a good player. So if he comes back, then I think they'll be okay. It's gonna be a good series, man. This is just gonna be a really, really good series. But I have to see the teams match up and how they're gonna match up before I really give a side on it.
All right, Knicks Heat. Help me out here, Ski. I'm underprepared to break down this series. What do you think?
I think that from the Knicks side, well, for one, I don't want to be laying any points with the Heat. That's how I feel about them. If I ever see them as favorites in this series, I'm only going to be looking at the Knicks or passing. That's just how I view the Heat. I don't think they're that kind of a team to be expected to win by margin. The Knicks, um, I'm not that thrilled to lay points with them either. So I guess this will be a series that I look more towards the total and Tibbs being, a defensive minded coach. We've already seen how they played the Cavaliers and the kind of, grinded out games they can play in the defense. The Heat, if they're having trouble matching up man to man, they have no problem going and switching and going to a zone and disrupting the opposing team's offense. So I'm thinking it'll be a lower scoring series, maybe not the entire time, but probably to start. Um, I would lean towards the under. As far as picking a winner, I really don't feel comfortable backing either team. If I bet New York, I probably would just bet the first quarter or first half, get in and get out. Because I mean, I know they handled business in the last series, but I feel like it's a team that can give it up in the fourth quarter. So that's how I feel about that series. I'm not sure what I'll do with it yet.
All right. Yeah. Excited to see that one tip off. 5-star. Do you have thoughts on the Heat and the Knicks? A 90s classic coming back. Maybe Jeff Van Gundy. Run out of the booth. Bite someone's ankles again. Will we see it?
It's gonna be a tight one. The Knicks have had more success with the Heat this year. They've beaten them, I think, throughout the last four. But Jimmy Butler has had a couple big games against the Knicks as well. Tom Thibodeau, defensive specialist, I'm sure he's gonna uh, get around the mistakes that Coach Bud made as far as in making Butler get off the ball. So they're gonna miss Tyler Hero this game. I think this would have been a big Tyler Hero series, just with simply the way that the Knicks are going to have to give up something, because they're going to have to send people at Butler. Because if they go one on one with him, with anyone that he has uh, to face with the Knicks, he's going to score on them. We know that, or get to the free throw line. He's pretty much proven and shown that throughout his playoff history since the bubble and being in Miami. So it's going to be a real good series. I wouldn't be surprised if this one goes seven because we got two really good coaches. But see, Tibbs is a good defensive coach, not so much on the offensive side. And Spoelstra is more balanced. Spoelstra can coach both sides of the ball. He's really sharp, man, and he makes adjustments in the series and in game better than probably most coaches in the NBA. So coaching advantage on this one, I actually give to Miami, and I think that and also having the best clear-cut player in the series is going to keep Miami in this series because Butler is going to be the best player in the series with Jalen Brunson closely behind. The best team seems like it's the Knicks, but can Butler and Spoelstra's greatness, as we know, a great player and a great coach together can sometimes win a series. And so it's going to be a good one. It's going to go seven, but I definitely think that Jimmy Butler has an advantage in this series, and I definitely know that Eric Spoelstra does. Hey, give out the viewers some plays before we let you go.
I think you should be backing both home teams tonight. I mean, we talked about it. I think they're the right sides, and we end the first round after tonight.
All right, you got it. So Ski's going with the Dubs -7.5 and his hometown Lakers -5 tonight. Ski, we appreciate you coming on. We'll talk to you very soon, brother.
Thanks for having me. I'll talk to y'all.
Peace, bro.
All right, there you have it. Let's move to the future. You got something for us. What's your pick?
Man, when I was going through my Caesars William Hill app, I was looking at a couple futures on the NFL, trying to see what they put up. So they put up the playoffs to make the playoffs for a bunch of teams.
Are they even going to cash this one for you?
Dog, they put minus
Bro,
145 for the
I
Ravens.
swear, like the shady offshores would be like, that's a mistake. And they'll
Dog,
avoid your bet. They'll be
like I'm
we
ready
put
to
up the
go
wrong
move some
line.
money around spread to go bet this one. Like
Well,
I'm ready to
they
go
are.
move some money.
If I saw a line like this on Bet Online, I wouldn't even bet it because I already know they're going to be like, you're taking advantage of it. You know that's the wrong line.
Nah, not here. We got the gaming commission, and they know me very
Yeah,
well over
you
there.
might need them. This should be like
Minus
-300.
145, guys. If you see this on Caesars William Hill, don't pound it until Monday, so I have time to move. So I have time to move some money around and go put some money on this thing because the Ravens have made the playoffs the last four out the last 5 years. Lamar Jackson just got paid, so he's happy. OBJ's finally healthy. He sat out until he was completely healthy before he came back, so he's ready to prove something. They got Zay Flowers last night, who I think is probably the best receiver, especially over the top receiver that was in the draft. He just didn't have a quarterback at Boston College, but this guy's a speedster. Still have the second best tight end in football in Mark Andrews. You still got Wink Martindale in that defense. You still got Rohan Smith. You still have all those great cornerbacks. You still got John Harbaugh with that great special teams. Their kicking game alone wins 4 games a year for them. We saw how successful they were without Lamar for most of the season last year. So now Lamar's paid and happy, ready to prove something to all the haters. OBJ's healthy, ready to prove something to all the haters. It's no way the Ravens in that division don't make the playoffs. The Browns are not good. They're going to fall all the way off the cliff. That's why the Texans made a really good trade last night when they traded up to get Will Anderson, they didn't give up their pick. They gave up Cleveland's pick. I mean, their pick. They gave up their pick and kept
To
Cleveland's
keep
pick
Cleveland's pick, yeah.
because they know Cleveland is about to have a bad season, man. Deshaun Watson isn't right. Their coach is on the hot seat. The Ravens play the Bengals better than any team in that division, and I expect them to probably win that division this year. The Steelers, um, they're you know they're on the come up, but I don't think they can. They're a better roster than the Ravens. This is a gimme, man. Go take the Ravens on Monday to make the playoffs minus 145 on Caesars William Hill, so that you don't disrupt this number and take it to like minus 200 before I could bet it right.
That's what it should be. It should be somewhere around there, minus 250, minus 300 even. Let's move to the ball and parlay. Let's give them something they can bet right now. And it is spring football. The 5
Yeah.
stars got you covered.
Yes.
I'll be honest. I bet these plays. I haven't watched one snap.
No, you don't have to. Just watch them pile up. Just watch them pile up.
Yeah. Baseball, I never watched one pitch.
Hey, just let them pile up, baby. That's all we're gonna do. So we're gonna go with the Houston Gamblers. Take them first half minus 1.5 and minus 3. The reason I want to split that one is because the Gamblers have a problem finishing games. They've given up some leads in the fourth quarter, the last two games. That's why they're 0-2. But I really like their coach Curtis Johnson, who used to coach Tulane. These guys have some really good running schemes, man. Their running plays are open and wide open. They can really run the ball on anyone. Their quarterback has been a problem. Kenji Bahar has 5 interceptions. He's lost a fumble in his first 2 games, and he's really a decent quarterback. He shows some skill athletically, and he also can throw the ball really well. He just has to protect the ball, man, and stop trying to make so many big plays, and they should be okay. The Showboats got smacked last week, 42-2. Their coach is Todd Haley, formerly from the NFL, and you know he's a jerk. So I don't know if his guys really like him that much on the team. Obviously, when you get blew out 42-2, you have some quit going on somewhere. They have a quarterback in Brady White who's not that good. He played at the University of Memphis, and in my opinion, he was one of the worst quarterbacks they had there. He started at Arizona State, but he's one of those guys who kind of shies away from contact. Doesn't like a lot of pressure up the middle, and I think that he's not able to put up enough points to beat the Gamblers. So both of these teams are 0-2. They're looking for victories in the USFL. I like what Curtis Johnson is doing over there with Houston. So we're going to go with Houston first half minus 1.5, and for the game minus 3. We got the XFL playoffs kicking out this weekend. Got to go with Houston again on Saturday. My Roughnecks minus 3.5 the first half against Arlington Rednecks. Excuse me, Arlington Renegades. Against the Arlington Renegades. So the Houston Roughnecks. Oh man, they're coming around right now. They just backed this team last week, man. And Arlington just got a new quarterback like 3 weeks ago, and he's not, the one to write home about Luis Perez, man. So we think that Houston continues this dominance. I would think that Houston will be in the championship game. They had the great Wade Phillips leading them. Cole McDonald's a really explosive quarterback for them. So take the Roughnecks to be minus 3.5 first half at home. Houston's little stadium will be rocking when Arlington comes into town. And Sunday we're going with the best team in the XFL, the DC Defenders, first half minus 1.5. Seattle is a really good team too. Seattle Sea Dragons are nice. They have Josh Gordon, and Josh Gordon is a complete matchup problem. But the thing is, they start slow. Seattle doesn't score a lot of points in the first half. They tend to make pushes late, and I would not be surprised if they come back and win this game. But at the first half, I like DC Defenders. First half minus 1.5 or money line. DC starts fast on everybody. Jordan Tamu is having a great season as quarterback for them. I think that they put up some early points, get the lead at home over the Dragons first half. So that's 3 plays for you guys. Oh, XFL and USFL spring football. Let's go, baby.
All right, I love it. I hate to do it, but we said root with our heart, bet with our head. I got the Warriors minus 7 tonight. Great season for the Kings. They exceeded my expectations. They're headed in the right direction, but these things take time. This is the NFL. We've seen this, and that's the fun of watching the basketball teams is they kind of have to grow into playoff teams. This has been a consistent theme throughout the years, right? Even Miami couldn't get it done. that first
Yeah.
year when they all came together and added LeBron James. So, interesting point when now I'm taking some of the things that Ski said
Yeah.
into consideration. Maybe I should be looking at that Miami team when I'm handicapping this Phoenix team. Right? So I got a lot to
Yeah.
think about. But what I'm not going to think about is I'm betting the Warriors tonight. So I got the Warriors -7 for my ball and parlay.
Yeah, anything with the Warriors, it seems like under 10 in the playoffs, if they're rolling, you gotta bet it.
Yeah.
Usually they end up around on a 9. Usually it seems like all the time, man. All right, guys, we had Ski in today. He gave you guys some info on the NBA. Spread just gave you Warriors -7. You know he believes if he's going against his hometown Kings, or maybe he's hitting you with the reverse jinx
No,
to make
I
it
don't
where
do
the
that.
Kings money line.
I mean, hey, yeah, if I'm going to lose a bet, I'll lose tonight. But yeah, unfortunately, I just don't see it happening.
It's always good though when you bet against your team, because if they win, now you're happy, but they have to win though.
What if they lose by 4?
Lose and cover. Now that'll suck. All right, man. And I got some football for you guys with the gamblers. Remember, take them first half -1.5 and -3 for the game, and then the XFL playoffs. We're going with the Houston Roughnecks -3.5 first half against the Arlington Renegades, and the DC Defenders first half -1.5 versus the Seattle Sea Dragons. Man, it's been a great week. We look forward to talking to you guys after another wonderful weekend we have coming up with betting sports, man. Anything for the people before we get out here, Spread?
Yeah. Enjoy the weekend. I would say go Kings, but I bet against them. But yeah, enjoy your weekend of sports.
Hey, man, best of luck to y'all. We'll talk to you guys on Monday.